What's up, everybody?
Hi guys, welcome to Element Online. We're so glad to have you here. I'm Mary Francis.
And I'm Josh, and we thank you guys for tuning in to come worship and be in fellowship with us. This week is the third week of our Restless series, and today we're going to talk about faith, and specifically what it means to have faith when there really aren't very many reasons to. So, again, we are so thankful for you guys and for you guys tuning in. It means a lot.
Yeah, especially y'all seniors, we miss you. We miss having you around, and we know that you're going through a lot right now, but we're really proud of the way you're handling it. And so we have an awesome video that the seniors put together to show you, so check it out.
Everyone falls down sometimes, but you just gotta know it'll all be fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in circle, walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in circle, walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
That was an awesome video. What are we gonna do now, Josh?
We're now going to play a really cool game. It's called Toilet Paper Drop, and for this game, we have a special guest. So if everyone could welcome our special guest, I want you to literally clap. This guy is awesome. Everybody, welcome Reese. Reese, welcome, buddy. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Reese, say hi to all your fans.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, so Reese and everybody, we're going to play a game called Toilet Paper Drop. And the way this game works is Reese is going to simply say the word drop. And Parker over there is going to drop the toilet paper. The goal is for the toilet paper to make its way through the pegs and land in one of our 5 shopping baskets. So Reese, you have 8 times to say drop. So you have 8 turns. So what that means for all of you at home is that you are going to guess, you're going to comment either on YouTube or on Facebook, however many times out of 8 you think Reese is going to actually get the toilet paper through the pegs and into the shopping basket.
Yeah,
Okay, so y'all make sure you comment.
1 out of 8. Josh, what do you get if you get it right?
If you get the right number, if you're the first person to comment the correct number that Reese gets, you'll get a $50 Amazon gift card. So
$50.
it makes it worth it. It's not that hard to comment a number out of 8.
So keep commenting. 1 out of 8. How many of the toilet paper rolls do you think Reese will get in the basket?
Exactly. So Reese, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. If y'all don't guess 100%, then y'all aren't with me. So.
Reese says if you don't guess 100%, you're just wrong. Parker, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Reese, I want you to let me know whenever you drop. Don't forget to comment, everybody. All right, Reese, all you, buddy. 1 at a time.
Ready, drop.
Drop. Okay. Will it stay? Okay, Reese is 1 for 1.
Reese.
Let's go, Reese. Okay, all right, round 2. Round 2, give me another drop whenever you're ready.
Drop.
Okay, drop. All right, let's see what happens now, Reese Pie. Oh, Reese, you're 1 for 2. That's okay. That's okay. You got 6 more. Tell me when you're ready for the next drop, Reese.
Maybe I'll hit one if I put my glasses on.
That's it.
Drop.
Okay. Oh boy, we're getting stuck up there. Oh no, you're 1 for 3. Okay, it's all right. It's all right. Shooters got to keep shooting. Everyone at home, make sure you're still commenting.
Yeah, keep commenting how many you think Reese is going to get.
That's right. Even Steph Curry shoots 50%. All right, Reese, let us know when you want to drop number 4.
Drop it now.
Drop it now. Okay.
Oh?
We're all the way on the end. We're going to see how this one goes. Okay. It's just bouncing on the... Oh, okay. Now we're getting some movement. Oh.
Whoa!
What?
Bounced off the wall.
Okay, Reese. 2 for 4. Let's go.
Yes, Reese.
Okay, so we've got 4 more. You are halfway there. Tell us when you want to drop the next one, Reese.
Let's just go ahead and drop it.
Okay, go ahead and drop it, Parker.
Why not let it fly?
Let it fly. Shooters got to keep shooting. Am I right? Whoa.
Whoa.
What kind of bounce was that? Is it gonna? Where's the bat? Oh! so bad. Okay, we have 3 more, so we're going to do these last 3 in a rapid fire round. So, Reese, I want you to say drop 3 times whenever you're ready.
Okay. Chop, chop, chop.
Okay, they're all up here in the corner. Let's see. Uh-oh. And, none of them made it. That's terrible. Okay, so Reese, you made 2 out of your 8. If you were the first person to comment 2, guess what? You just won $50. So congratulations. We will go and make sure that we find whoever was the first one to comment 2. Reese, thanks for playing. If I can get Reese taken away. Goodbye, Reese.
Bye, Reese.
Thank you all.
All right, y'all. Thanks for playing. We will find out who the first person to comment 2 was, and we'll get you your gift card.
All right, so now we're going to head into a time of worship. We know that it can be weird to worship all when we're not together, but we want this to be a time for you for whatever you need. So whether that means just humming along or singing in your room, whatever makes you feel comfortable. So let's worship.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Element Virtual Worship. Emily and I are going to sing some songs for you guys. Obviously, you're at home. It'd be a little weird if you guys jumped and ran to the stage and did all that weird stuff that we do here, but just use this time to listen, to learn, to worship, and do whatever makes you comfortable from your own living room. Who am I that the highest king could welcome me? And I was lost, but he brought me his love for me. Oh, his love for me. Who the sun sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. Free at last, he has ransomed me, his grace runs deep. And while I was a slave to sin, Jesus died for me. Yes, he died for me. Who the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. When my Father's house, there's a place for me. Oh, I'm a child of God, yes I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. Yes, I am who you say I am. Who the Son sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. And it's higher than the mountains that I face, and it's stronger than the power of the grave, and it's constant through the trials and the change. But this one thing remains. This one thing remains. 'Cause your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. And on and on and on and on it goes. Yes, it overwhelms and satisfies my soul. And I never ever have to be afraid, 'cause this one thing remains. This one thing remains. 'Cause your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Oh, your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. In death, in death, in life, I'm confident and covered by the power of your great love. My debt is paid, there's nothing that can separate my heart from your great love. 'Cause your love, 'cause your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. 'Cause your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me.
Bring it all to peace. The storm surrounding me, let it break. At your name, still call the sea to still, the rage in me to still every wave. At your name, oh Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, you silence fear. Oh, Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, your name is a light that the shadows can't deny. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is alive, forever lifted high. Your name cannot be overcome. Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, you silence fear. Oh, Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Oh, Jesus, 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 you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, you silence fear. Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus. Father God, we come before you, humbled, gracious. God, I just pray that in times like these, we remember to look to you, to look to your Son. God, that even in the darkness, there is hope, there is light, and there is peace. And God, we pray this all in your Son's precious and holy name. Amen.
Well, we're 3 weeks in, right? 3 weeks into our new normal, 3 weeks into our lives as we knew it being disrupted, 3 weeks into using the word social distancing 500 times a week, washing our hands 700 times a day, and using up every bottle of Germ-X that we possibly can get. How are you feeling today? Are you feeling a little restless? Good news for you. So today I wanted to share with you, I don't know if everybody knows my story completely, but I want to share with you a little bit of my background. So I'm the youth pastor here at Trinity, which means that I am a professional Christian. In fact, I even took it to the next level starting in college. In college, I went to Birmingham Southern, and I got a degree in religion, which means basically I spent my entire college career studying God and studying the Bible. Then I went to seminary, that's the fancy church word for graduate school, where I learned how to be a better pastor, a better youth pastor, a better disciple of Jesus, and somebody that can fully share with you who God is. So today, if you are struggling with your faith, if you are lost, if you are feeling restless, I am here to answer all of life's worries. Actually, that's not true at all. Here's the thing. Even though I'm a professional Christian, I struggle with my faith all the time. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that I question God's existence all the time, but a lot of times I do wonder if God is here for me, if God really cares about me, if God really cares about any of us. I mean, look, let's think about where our world is right now. We're in this new crazy normal where we are so distant from each other that sometimes we can't even connect with our immediate family. We're at home. We don't have school like we used to have. Our friends, we barely get to talk to, much less see right now. And we're around our parents all the time. Are you feeling a little restless? Are those questions about your faith starting to rise up a little bit like they do for me? You'd think as a professional Christian, oh, Robert, he would have it all figured out. But here's the thing that I've learned over just the few years that I've been in ministry and that I was in school. The more I studied God, the more I studied the Bible, the less I realized I actually know. But the few things that I do know, I realized how important they really are to me. I think we saw that same kind of faith with Peter, who we talked about last week. Peter was that disciple who loved Jesus, who followed Jesus for 3 years, gave up his livelihood, changed his life, moved into this new normal to follow after this person that he thought was the one, was truly God with us, Emmanuel. And then, like I shared last week, there was this moment when they're out on a boat, him and his friends, and they're looking for Jesus, and they get caught in this storm after Jesus had sent them out onto the lake. And then they see Jesus out there walking on water. Walking on water. And we talked about how crazy that concept is last week. But then Peter takes it a step further. He says, Lord, if this really is you, tell me to come out onto the water. And so Jesus does. And Peter starts to step out. He takes a step out onto that water and he walks out and he begins to walk on the water himself. But then the storm rises up and he sees the wind and he realizes, wait a minute, this is crazy. I'm walking on water. There's a storm around me. And he starts to sink. And he cries out to Jesus, and Jesus comes and grabs him and pulls him up, and he places him back on the boat. But then Jesus asks him a question. He says, hey, why don't you believe in me? Where's your faith in this, Peter? And it's interesting, if you pay close attention, you realize that Peter doesn't have any more speaking lines after that. He doesn't say anything back to Jesus. You see, I think that Peter's mistake wasn't not having enough faith. It was choosing to not be honest about where he was when he was there on the water, and also trusting that Jesus was there too. I wonder if that happens to you sometimes. I know it does to me. That sometimes when the world starts to unravel around me, I start to wonder where God is. But instead of saying that to God, I keep it to myself. And then it's crazy. I start to somehow forget how much God had been in my life before that moment. I get like tunnel vision. I get blinders on, and I forget how much God had already been at work in my life. I wonder if right now, in the middle of this new normal for you, this unprecedented season of your life, are you really remembering how God's been at work at your life before? Jesus has this word, anamnesis. It's the word that we translate to be remembrance. And when Jesus is using that word throughout the Gospels, he's using it to mean this. And the translation is basically this. It's to remember what was as if it is right now. Have you ever passed your childhood home? Maybe you moved when you were a little bit younger and you passed that childhood home, and it's like a movie trailer plays in your head and you remember those moments in the front yard. Riding your bike, swinging on that tree. Or maybe like right now, your family, you're with them all the time and they're kind of driving you crazy. But then there's that one moment at dinner when your parents bring out that dessert that you haven't had in years because it just takes forever to make. And all of a sudden, it's like you went back in time 5-10 years ago and you remember being a kid. That's what Jesus is talking about when it comes to remembering. It's to remember something so deeply inside of you that it's as if it is right now. I believe that that's what faith really is. Faith is extremely complicated, and I'm not going to pretend that it's not. But I do think that in some ways, faith is remembering where Jesus has been in our life before, so much so that it's as if Jesus is here right now, even when it can feel so impossible to believe that Jesus is. Have you ever had that moment before? Maybe it's at Discovery Weekend and you're worshiping with your friends and it's been a while since you've been connected with God. And then it just sort of rushes back into you. You feel as if the presence of God is surrounding you. You feel as if you are loved in a way that you haven't felt in years. You sing with your friends. You pray with your friends. You feel so intentionally connected to God. That is remembering. That is faith. Right now, we are all restless. Look, I am so thankful that I can be here at Element right now, sharing this message with you for no other reason than getting out of the house for a minute and changing my routine. But I think a lot of times we need to stop, even when we're frustrated, even when we're restless. And we've got to remember back to where God has been in our life before now. So I want to ask you today, in the middle of this unprecedented season, are you really taking the time to remember where God has been in your life? Like, are you allowing the change in your routine to keep you from being in routine with God? Because I believe that God didn't cause this virus. God doesn't will these bad things to happen in our life. But I believe that God's going to bring light out of the darkness every single time. But a lot of times God's inviting us to be a part of that. And that means we have to take time to remember. It means that we actually have to sit and be still with God? Are you really taking the time to do that? To ask God to show you where God's been in your life before today? Before these feelings of anxiety and worry and stress and doubt and confusion? Are you really taking the time to be honest with God about how you feel? That you feel stressed and worried and anxious? What about frustration? Let me talk to the seniors for just a minute. Seniors, I know I've talked with many of you in the past week, and I know that you are so disappointed and frustrated right now. I can't imagine fully what it would feel like to be in your shoes. I'm not going to pretend as if I've experienced what you're experiencing right now of the things you wish you could do, you can't do now. But have you really named that to God yet? Have you shared those frustrations with your family? And have you taken the time to remember that in every other moment in your life, even if it doesn't look like this moment, but at every moment in your life before this, when you were feeling frustrated, when you were feeling confused, when you were starting to doubt God, have you taken the time to consider where God was in the midst of those moments? And are you taking the time right now to consider that God is still with you right now? I'm so heartbroken for you that this is happening. I'm sad and I'm restless for you. I wish that all of our students could be here every Sunday night and that we could be worshiping together. But I still believe, as much as I can, even in those days when I can't quite see it, I believe that God is still moving. I have the faith to believe that even when I don't want to have the faith, that God's going to be at work anyways. And for me, the reason why I remember that is because I'm in this haven right now, in this worship space, and I'm remembering all the other times that God has moved in my life and in your life and in our community's lives, even when we didn't believe it, when we didn't see it, when we didn't trust in it, and when we weren't honest with God. So I want to challenge you this week for the next 7 days. I know the past few weeks we've been having these 7-day challenges. And this week I want to challenge you to do this as we look forward to Holy Week next week, as we look forward to finishing up this Restless series. I want to challenge you for the next 7 days to start your day with a journal. And I know you're about to get back into the school swing of things, even if it's online, you're like, I don't want any more homework. I get it. But I'm also very confident that this moment that we've been in has been a moment where we can reset and we can refocus on God. And I believe that one of the ways we do that is by starting our day with God. Starting our day by remembering, because that's how we practice our faith. So I want to challenge you over the next 7 days to get a journal, whether that's a nice fancy looking one or just a couple of sheets of paper, whatever works for you. And I want you to write out times that God has been in my life, ... And then I want you to start just making some bullet points, or maybe it's writing down stories, whatever, again, that looks like for you, as an act of remembering. And then on the page right behind it, I want you to write things I need to say to God, ... And then I want you to write out again, whether it's a story, paragraph, bullet points, it doesn't have to be MLA format. I want you to write out those statements, those questions that you have for God, that you need to be honest with God about. And then once you do that each day, I want you to close that journal, and I want you to place your hand on it and close your eyes. And I want you to pray to God that through remembering, through trusting, and through being honest with God, that you would have an even stronger faith. That you would be able to see God moving even in a time of uncertainty, in a time of frustration, in a time of confusion. Ask God, will you help me remember that you have been in my life before today, before this season, before this social distancing. God, you have been in my life. And even when I don't see you, even when it's hard to talk to you, I'm going to trust today and have enough faith today to believe that you are here and now. God, make that be true and help me to see it. For the next 7 days, I want to challenge all of us to do that. Will you pray with me? Holy and gracious God, Lord, I thank you so much for all of our students and families that are worshiping with us today. And God, I just pray that today, as we're in week 3 of this social distancing season, Lord, that you would remind us that your faith is always moving, that your love and your mercy and your grace is always with us, even when it's so hard to see. God, may we have that kind of faith that believes that we can step out and see you and walk towards you, and that, God, when we start to waver, when we start to get confused and distracted, that God, we would have enough courage to call out to you still and believe and have faith enough to believe that you will be there to grab our hand, to pull us back up, and to place us back on steady ground. God, we love you and we thank you. And I pray again that each of our students that are in this moment of restlessness, that they would find comfort in your love, and they would find an opportunity to take a deeper step in their faith today. All this I pray in your holy name. Amen.
Thanks, Robbie, and thank you all for tuning in. This service, this time of worship and fellowship wouldn't be what it is without you all and your contributions and your efforts. So thank you. Before we let you go, we have two announcements. They should pop up on the bottom of your screen right here. The first is that we want you to tune in to the Trinity-wide service on Sunday morning at 8:30 and 11. So get with your family on Sunday morning and watch our service together.
And also, if you're not in a fusion group, this is the perfect time to join. We've already had a bunch of people join small groups during this time, and we would love to see your face on that Zoom call. So if you're interested, email Emily. Her information is down below.
Yeah, so again, thank you. We love you. We're here for you. Do not hesitate to ask us for anything. We want to be here with you even when we physically can't be. That's all we got. If you guys want to keep up with us throughout the next week until we're back again, follow us on all the social media. We'll be keeping you up to date with all things Element. So that's it. We'll see y'all next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, guys.